There is an outstanding broadcaster in Denver who had a dramatic impact on many of our BPC members. Thousands of Denver University students owe their success in broadcasting and communication to a man who brought over 10 years of television experience to Denver when he arrived in 1948. When Noel Jordan received a BA from Harvard in 1937, he joined NBC in New York City in the mailroom, but soon transferred to the television department.
I got into the television department the day that they went on the air for the first time with a regular weekly schedule, April 30th, 1939. I remember it distinctly. I was moved into the department, didn't know what I was doing. Nobody else did either, so I was fine. And I got a job in the mailroom at $15 a week.
He was a property manager when NBC put on its first regularly scheduled programming, and he was on the crew for the first remote broadcast in history, a speech by President Franklin Roosevelt.
He was, I think, opening the World's Fair, and of course NBC covered his speech. I was only an assistant foreman at that point.
NBC put television on hold during World War II, and Noel Jordan served as an Army Air Corps communications specialist. After the war, television grew rapidly, and Jordan moved quickly up the ranks at NBC in a variety of jobs.
It was a time when a lot of people were moving up, but there was all kinds of opportunity to do new things. I wrote some scripts that were put on, dramatic scripts. I got into directing when I got back from the Army. I was in the master control room directing traffic for a few months, and then I was transferred to the remote crew.
He made his reputation as a producer and director on live remote broadcasts. He directed numerous remote sports events, including the 1946 Lewis Kahn fight, and remotes from Arturo Toscanini and the NBC Symphony Orchestra.
The cameras were bulkier. We usually had at least two, and more often three cameras covering an event, and a mobile unit with in which I sat with earphones and the video monitors and directed the cameraman.
Among his accomplishments were the first remote from a submarine.
The engineers, they really the smart work. They ran a cable up the spare periscope onto the dock where it was connected with the control truck. And of course the submarine stayed at the dock, but the cameras didn't show the dock.
And a remote broadcast from an aircraft carrier off the Long Island Sound.
And that's when they perfected the microwave link that sent the signal to the Empire State Building. The only problem he had was when the aircraft carrier turned and the superstructure of the aircraft carrier blocked off the view of the cameras, and the screen went black. Those are experimental days, they certainly were.
One of his last assignments with NBC was producing and directing the 1948 Republican, Democratic, and Progressive political conventions.
When we covered conventions, for example, we'd have a crew of 14, 16. We had a sponsor who helped a great deal, Time Life, and they gave us entree to all kinds of people. It was very exciting to me.
In 1948, Noel Jordan's life changed dramatically when his wife became ill, and her doctor advised them to leave New York. They chose Denver. Shortly after his arrival in 1948, Russell Porter, director of the DU School of Communications Arts, hired Jordan as a professor in the radio, TV, film department.
I had no idea of going into teaching, none whatsoever, but I was offered a job, and I thought a university would be nice until television comes to Denver. Well, we had a little radio studio, and I taught radio courses. I taught a basic course in television production. It was all makeshift, believe me.
His TV experience helped the University of Denver broadcast program become one of the most respected in the nation. He was the chairman of the department from 1964 to 1975. His students went to work in radio and TV and became integral members of the broadcast industry all over the nation.
That's lovely at my age to look back and think that and see so many students who've achieved things. That's very rewarding. And that's one of the great rewards of being a teacher.
Jordan also helped found Western Cine, the region's first motion picture processing lab.
With two partners, John Newell and Herman Urschel, we processed 16 millimeter and 35 millimeter film. And of course, there was no videotape.
So news film had to be processed quickly to meet the 10 p.m. news deadlines of the 3 Denver network TV stations. At one time, it was the largest lab between Chicago and Los Angeles. Noel Jordan was there in New York City at the very beginning of TV. He brought his talent and experience to the University of Denver to pass on to thousands of his students.
Technically, it's made extraordinary advances, but now it depends so much on ratings, and that dismays me. But it's still an exciting medium. I still enjoy watching television news and special events.
Noel Jordan is one of the true pioneers of television in America.
Every day was something new that hadn't been done before, and that was an exciting time to be in the business. Your imagination in devising how to cover things and so on had free rein, and that's what made it so interesting. There was no set routine for anything. I don't think we thought about it a great deal, but we had a glimmering, yes, that we were, in a sense, making history.
It is with great pride that the broadcast professionals of Colorado present our Lifetime Achievement Award to Noel Jordan for his dedication and contribution to the Colorado broadcast industry.